Hey guys, how you doing today? I am streaming remote from my cell phone because I did want to make sure that I squeezed in this video today. So I stay on track with the 30 days too. And today I actually have so much running around to do and meetings and just nonstop. It's going to be a little bit of a crazy day here. So, with that being said, hello to you, and I hope that you are having a beautiful day. I'm in the midst of trying to finalize taxes, meet with clients, prepare for an upcoming event. I've got Hurley Ball that starts in 4 weeks, something like that. So, it's a little bit busy. But that actually brings me to my start for social media, where it all started is I originally was not focused on the online marketing stuff. That wasn't my gig. My gig was producing awesome in-person events and stepping it up in that way. So it was a pretty major blessing. Anyhow, one of my friends, Mona Sohori, kept saying to me, "Look, you have got to get onto Facebook. You've got to get on Facebook." And I was like, "Facebook? It's a joke. I don't want to get on Facebook. I don't have time for that." And she kept saying, "No, you don't understand. It'll be a good fit for your business. You can start promoting it." And I thought, no, I don't know. I don't know that I feel comfortable with that idea of like people that are sharing all their information. In fact, the first time that I had heard about Facebook, I was actually driving down the road and there was this like a NPR thing that came on and they were doing an interview with Zuckerberg. I think at the time they were calling it the Facebook. I think it was something like that. But I was thinking to myself, like, why in the heck would people go online and share their personal stuff with the world? What the hell's wrong with people? That sounds creepy. That was actually my thought. Like, I kid you not. Hey, David, I hope you're doing good. Good morning. Anyhow, after some persuasion, I finally decided, okay, I'm going to go set up an account. And then, for whatever reason, it was like they didn't let me in right away. And then she kept bugging me, like, why aren't you on here? Why aren't you on here? You need to be promoting this stuff. And, we're doing all these great things. And I was like, well, they wouldn't even give me an account. So I ended up, because of her pushing me so much, I ended up sending a message like, hey, what's going on? Like, why didn't you, set it up? And they said, oh, it's some kind of overlook, whatever. So I finally got into Facebook. I think at the time you had to list somebody that you knew on Facebook or something like that. It was, I don't know. But anyhow, so I ended up getting onto Facebook and then after a little while, the bug kind of set in of, oh, I can see different ways that I can promote my business and what we do. So for the most part, if I was doing weddings or some private parties that it was comfortable for the client, I would share that. And then corporate events, if it was allowed, like corporate events, I would share posts because I did have some clients at the time that were well-known people that had private parties and they don't necessarily like people knowing their business, so I didn't share that or disclose who or what I did for them. But anyhow, there was this advantage of being able to get out there and promote, so that kind of became my passageway to how did I get onto Facebook. I was reluctant. I had a friend that kept pushing me to do it. And I'm glad that I did. I've had a chance to meet so many people from all over the world. I've had a chance to kind of connect my business in a different way. And now, most recently, since the lockdowns, I've started shifting my business in another way because in the past, most of my clients, it was in-person events, really big events, typically like 500 people minimum, for like black tie galas, things like that. um, Platinum weddings. I've done weddings that have cost over $100,000, not even including the food, just for the Shazam. uh, but that died. after the pandemic because there were no big gatherings. And I live in Michigan, the beautiful state of Michigan, but our state was like locked down and held down for a very long time. In fact, this May 7th will be the first time that I've done Hurley Ball, which is a big event in mid Michigan that they raise funds this year. It's actually, they're putting in a behavioral, it's like a mental health facility for youth. So that they can get support with mental health, and that's where all the funds are going to go. So this May will be the first time that I have had a huge in-person event in over 2 years. So with that being said, I'm really grateful that social media opened up new pathways for me to pivot and adjust my company. And I'm still in that transition of pivoting, but it was pretty scary there for a while. And if I wouldn't have had other opportunities that came through digital and online marketing, I really don't know. I don't know how my family would have survived. And I'm grateful. And I mean, I could go on to a rant about that, but the point that I'm trying to make is it created opportunities and made them available when my trade, my source of income was cut off. So that I do really appreciate. As far as like where do I see social media going? I think that we're still in baby phase. You know, we've seen like this progression of social media. Like at first, it was just like a lot of text, and then they started bringing in where you could import photos, and then video, and then live streaming, and now we've got Facebook is now Meta, so their idea is rolling into this whole virtual reality. How that'll work out exactly, I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is change is constant and nothing stays the same. So I think that we are in a renaissance of technology and innovation. But along this path, I think that we need to do some things to preserve um, rights for us as humans. You know, like AI is becoming really powerful. I don't know if you've listened to some of the discussions that Elon Musk has had about, you know, AI and how that can be impacting all of us, and our society, the basic threads of our society. And right now is a really keen time to pay attention to what's going on. I think you may have read Elon Musk, but I think it was 9% of Twitter stock this past week, which makes him, I think, the number one holder of Twitter stock. And as soon as he bought it, if you notice, the stock of Twitter all of a sudden started going up. At the same time, this week, I don't know if you heard, but Meta and CNN, very scary, talking about merging together. So there's a lot for us to be aware of between like big tech, government, and everybody kind of mixing it together. So I think it's going to be an interesting ride, but I think as business owners and just general public, we need to be aware and pay attention and make sure that we're doing things to preserve our rights as humans, you know, like being able to speak. I have a friend who's actually in this group who's done some political comedy, and she had an account taken down on TikTok. You may have heard about it. I'll let her call her out herself, but she pokes fun about it in her little skits, which is hysterical. But I think it's important for us to be able to do that, because when we have suppression, that causes all kinds of difficulties. But when we have the ability to communicate freely, I believe that when we can speak truth and not allow big technocrats and government bureaucrat to control the narrative, if we can break through that, that's how we can get to places that are better for all of us and to better understand each other, to create that dialogue and that flow. That's one of the things that I loved about her videos. Um, I mean, she may have gone a little bit too far sometimes, but they were funny, and it was speaking to the truth of what we were living in. But um, all of that is where we're at with technology. It's moving rapidly, it's impacting our society, our culture. And I remember a long time ago when I worked at Ford, I was in one of these management trainings that they had, and I really did enjoy those because you'd get some cutting edge ideas. And this is all the way back in, like, I'm going to say 97, 98, something like that. And one of the principles that they shared, this will be the last thing I'm going to share with you really quick, but one of the principles they shared, and I'll never forget it, is, and this was in 97, not with what we know of technology, like Bluetooth wasn't even out. Cell phones were just coming out, they were flip phones. But this was the idea or the notion of what they said is, as technology is developed and implemented, that next layer of technology that will happen is going to happen faster. So the rate in which we're engrossing ourselves into technology, if you go back and you look at over like the last 5 years, it's incredible like how fast it's gone. So the next 5 years, in much likelihood, depending on what happens with the rest of everything, I don't know. But the technology is going to continue to develop faster and faster. And I encourage you to go watch one of Elon Musk's, whether you love him or hate him, just go listen to what he says when it comes to artificial intelligence. And I think it's important for us to know. One last thing, I think that we will see more happening with voice recognition. I actually had a chance to work on an advanced electronic project back in the 90s at Ford, where the engineers were working on voice activation then. Some of the ideas that they had that were like off the charts crazy, we're starting to see some of that, but some of it still hasn't even hit. That was like 20 years ago. So imagine what they have on the back burner now. So prepare yourself to be willing to embrace learning and growing. And I think that as technology evolves, it'll become easier for us to work and live with. All right. So that's my scoop on social media. And you get to do a little tour of my little career. And the whole bottom line is this. I'm grateful for social media, and I hope that it gets to serve a purpose that's more good versus the other side. But with life, we always have that yin and yang. Let me see, somebody wrote something. Um, just FYI is merging with Discovery Networks, not Meta. Okay, David, go and look because I was just reading it last night that there's conversation of CNN and Meta, and that could be Discovery coming in too. It could be. It could be like a multi collaboration piece. Um, there's also some discussion on different legislation that they want to pass. I'm not going to get into it too much here, but I think that it's important for people to stay up to date. If I find the article, I'll actually come back and share it with you. But to me, that's kind of scary. I don't know. All right, you guys, that's all I got for today. I hope that you guys have an absolutely beautiful day. Hey, Nicole, thanks for coming by. David, I'm always glad that you dropped by. Hi, Isha. Hi, Matt. And yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I did get in my one stream for the 30 days or for today. Make sure that I don't miss a day for the 30. All right. I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say. In the meantime, have an absolutely beautiful day. All right. We'll see ya. Bye.